Hey guys, this is Rob with Chanella's Life. You're going to notice on my channel I'm doing a bit of a rebrand, kind of changing from the Don't Wear My Chanelas thing to just Chanella's Life. So what I'm trying to capture is kind of my life in the Philippines, and a lot of it's going to be motorcycle topics. It's a big part of what I do here. So for you guys that subscribe, thanks, and hopefully more guys come along and find my content interesting. So, I've been out of country for a little over a month. I took a trip to the U.S. for some work. I was there for about 3 weeks, and I jumped on a plane and I went to Italy, and that was a good time. Did some work over there, and then took that long ass flight from Milan all the way to Manila, connecting through Taipei. That was pretty brutal. But anyway, back in the Philippines, here in my home office for this video, and I had something kind of come into one of my feeds. I'm not sure. I think maybe Reddit. And there's this idiot that wrote this article, and the title of the article is "The Lure of the Motorcycle is Stalling Out." And basically, in a nutshell, this guy, I guess he's a freelance writer. He used to be editor in chief of Wired, I believe, before they had a big house cleaning and really scaled back. And now he's freelance, and he's written this article for Bloomberg. Thank God it's for Bloomberg, and maybe no one will read it because the article is just really a shit show. He got a lot of backlash for it, but I thought I'd talk about it a little bit. And the context of this article is he became a U.S. citizen, and he was motivated to become a U.S. citizen because of some concern of a new administration coming to power, and maybe being a full-fledged U.S. citizen might be a good idea. I thought that was kind of interesting. And then to celebrate this new citizenship, he decided to embark on about a 5,000 mile journey on a motorcycle from New York City to San Francisco. And then he wrote this article. I guess he got assigned to it by Bloomberg. I don't know. It's just so disconnected and so goofy. But he's trying to talk about how motorcycle sales are flat, and then how he took this long motorcycle ride from New York to San Francisco, and how riding a motorcycle sucks. It was miserable, boring, just a horrible experience. And I was just amused by it. I'm gonna run through it and maybe give you a couple of highlights. But let me tell you my take on riding a motorcycle. So I'll explain it this way. When I was hanging out in Milan, I was working with a guy named Justin, and we were eating a lot of pizza, a lot of great pizzerias in Milan. And I think I might have made a comment about pizza again, or maybe this pizza's not that great. And he's like, let me tell you something. Pizza is like sex. Even when it's bad, it's good. And for me, that's how I feel about motorcycle riding. Riding a motorcycle, even when it's bad, it's good. I just love it. Now, I know not everybody's going to feel that way, but there's a lot of guys that do. A lot of guys are just really passionate about riding motorcycles. And I don't think there's any concern about the motorcycle stalling out in the United States. But this guy, I'll kind of run through, and he mentions a ride on Skyline Drive, which goes through Shenandoah National Park. I'll show you the route real quick. It's a very scenic, twisty road that goes through Shenandoah National Park. It does kind of have a low speed limit. It's meant to be a scenic cruise, but he whined about how boring it was, and almost falling asleep, and how he was happy to get back to traffic clogged highways. And then he goes on. Who actually enjoys this singularly challenging mode of transport? Shitload of people, dude. A lot of people. Probably a lot of people in your audience, if you had one. And then he kind of jumps into motorcycle sales data. And there is an issue in the motorcycle industry right now. I'll kind of pull up this chart I have for Harley Davidson. You know, they started blowing up in the 90s, and from like 2000 to all the way up to the recession in 2008, they just had really tremendous growth. And then they had this big fall off. What was happening in this period is every douchebag baby boomer that was going through a midlife crisis went out and bought a Harley Davidson. They were just freaking everywhere. They couldn't keep them on the floor. Everybody wanted a Harley. All these old guys, they worked all their life, and they, whatever. Wife left them. They're, wanted to go out and try new things, and they bought a Harley. And then sales kind of fell off. And we had recovery from 2010 to, for a few years, 2015. And then we started having a new generation of riders, and Harleys maybe aren't their thing. Another thing that was happening during this time frame is bikes were just getting bigger and more expensive and more technology. And, the technology is a great thing, but the expense was a problem. And now we find ourselves in an economic environment where people don't have a lot of disposable income to go out and drop 15, 20, 25, 30 grand on a motorcycle. So I think that's kind of what's going on with motorcycle sales. I had Chat GPT kind of pull up motorcycle registrations. Down here on the blue line, you can see new registrations kind of falling off and then picking back up over the past few years, recovering. But used registrations have just been consistent, going up. People are still riding bikes. Motorcycles have not lost the allure. But this guy tries to make this connection that he goes and the ride is uncomfortable. You can't carry luggage. You can't listen to music because he didn't get a Bluetooth connection. Just a whole montage of how horrible riding a motorcycle is. And he compares it to Vipassana meditation retreat. I don't even know what the hell that is, could care less. But, I think it was John Lennon that once said that, I'm an artist. You give me a tuba, I'll get you something out of it. A famous line from Departed. And I think most guys, almost any guy, gets on a bike and rides 3.5 weeks, 5,000 miles across the country. They should get something out of it. If you can't get something out of that, an experience, a significant experience, then, motorcycles aren't the problem, okay? I think even if you're not necessarily the most enthusiastic rider, but you take that endeavor, you make that trip, that journey, and plan for it and embrace it and enjoy the idea of it, you're going to get something out of it. But this guy just took 3.5 weeks, rode 5,000 miles, and it was like either indifferent or a worst thing that happened to him. I don't know where he's at. And then some of his comments, even his comments that are kind of positive about motorcycling, are really kind of shallow, talking about how good he looks in the gear, going to a party and wearing the gear, and shit that all of us that ride motorcycles would just laugh at and call you a poser. That's who this guy is. He's just a poser. I don't know how he ended up with this gig, why he was the guy for this challenge, but Bloomberg blew it. And there's the reality of motorcycle sales being flat. Manufacturers are adjusting. They're bringing out smaller bikes, cheaper bikes that are more versatile, that are targeted for younger riders to try to get these young men into riding motorcycles. But yeah, I don't know. They got the wrong guy, and they didn't create the right message. I'm hoping guys don't see this and get dissuaded. So I'm going to jump down to the conclusion of this shit show of an article and just let him summarize it. I still ride my bike. The best reason I can come up with is that it's just, well, sexy. You know, yeah, there's a few guys out there like that, but most riders aren't riding the bike to look sexy. We're going out to have an experience, to push ourselves, to, you know, experience isolation across the country in different destinations. And then he follows that up with, biking is pointless, perilous, and impractical. Yet each time I get in the saddle, I feel a frisson of joy along with, or perhaps identical to, the fear that this could be the last. And, you know, if that's how you feel, if you're getting on a bike and you're anticipating misery and boredom and wondering if it might be the last time that you're going to ride a bike and you know, captive to that fear, get the fuck off the bike. Give the bike to someone else. You have no business riding the bike, okay? You're just, it's not for you. And the whole article is just framed that way, and it just, I don't know. I'm baffled by the whole thing. It really kind of pisses me off. I know biking is not everybody's thing, or motorcycling, but you know, I don't know. If you don't know anything about it, if you don't get it, if you don't understand it, maybe not make it your lane, right? To put this commentary out there. Anyway, yeah, so he, you know, that's him. That's our new American that, you know, christened his citizenship by riding across the United States, 5,000 miles, 3.5 weeks. And this is the bullshit artwork we get from Bloomberg and this douchebag leaning against his Bonneville, and how motorcycling just sucks. So fuck this guy. Give it a try. If you don't like it, I get it. I understand. But don't be dissuaded by some dude, you know, with this kind of opinion. Experience it first and see if it might be for you. A lot of people love it. Some people, it might not be their thing. That's good. But don't, you know, castigate our whole industry. Don't kill off motorcycling because you're bored running down the highway with the wind in your hair, you know, seeing the country. Doesn't make sense to me. Anyway, kind of my thoughts on this article, and we'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching.